here. So 3, 2, 1, and we're going live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday night in the Spotlight. Tonight we have joining us Lisa Stamper, who's here to talk to us about the Success Code. Lisa is an intuitive life and business success coach, international speaker, best-selling author, online course creator, and founder of the Soul Aligned Success Strategy. Lisa teaches people from all walks of life how they really can have the life they so deeply desire by aligning with their soul's purpose so they can experience the incredible joy, unlimited prosperity, and deep fulfillment and satisfaction that's meant for them. She also works with heart-centered entrepreneurs to start and grow their businesses using practical and soul-inspired strategies to maximize their success. Lisa speaks on topics of true success, business mindset, manifestation, purpose, passion, alignment, and empowerment. She shared the stage with Jack Canfield and has been a featured speaker on Mo Mondays, the Soul Ignition podcast, the Activate Your Soulgasmic business podcast, the Full Life podcast, the Powerful You interview series, the Woke Summit, and in Stories of Resilience and Courage in Woke Woman and more. And if anyone is interested in contacting Lisa, you can go to her website at lisastamper.com. So thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us here tonight. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm
So can
so
you tell
excited
us
to be here.
Sorry, what was that?
I just said I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. Can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and how you got started and what's the story of all of this?
Yeah, amazing. So I started off as an esthetician, but then I had all kinds of like intuitive hits and nudges guiding me, and it just naturally transpired. I started playing and doing angel readings with my clients, and then it just transformed, and I got really into self-development, and it just all kind of opened up, and all the little intuitive things that happened, well, a lot that happened from even when I was young, started to make sense. So that's really just how I started and how I got here.
Awesome. Beautiful. So can you tell me, what is this success code that you're talking about?
Yeah, so I'm super excited to talk about it today. I took notes. It's exactly what Spirit has said that would most serve people listening today. So the success code, it is, right? We do whatever Spirit says. They say that it's the real guaranteed way to success. And I'm going to give you like little bits and pieces as we go. So Spirit shares that we've gotten success all wrong, which totally isn't our fault, right? We've been conditioned and taught to believe like the way things work, if we do X and Y, we will get Z, right? Like, I would love to know how many of you listeners believe that if you follow systems and strategies that work for others, they'll work for you too, right? And of course you do, because that's what we've been taught is how it works. But it's that linear, right? That really limited thinking, like A plus B equals C or X plus Y equals Z, that keeps us in this prison of our own making. It cuts us off from like flow and alignment and expansiveness that is real, and that's actually meant for us. So we have to move from like this perception of limitation and lack into a perception of abundance, which is true. And as you know, right, Catherine, this is what's been happening collectively. As we all know, there's been some massive, massive shifts going on because we're transitioning, we're awakening more to the truth of who we are and beyond what we've always thought we were, right? We're experiencing like heightened intuition, and so many people I talk to, like a sense of urgency to serve. Like we just know we're being called into more and more time to play and have fun and for freedom, right? And what I'm being told and talking with people like you and my other colleagues, this shift is really happening so it can liberate us from the inside out, right? To really free us from all the bondage, from the brainwashing, the rules, the shoulds, the worries, the fears, that is really that patriarchal, limited, old age thinking. Right now we're moving into this newer age. It's freeing us from all past limitations and constructs and paradigms and belief systems and patterns and the really dense, stuck energy, because we're truly meant to, and we get to live a life of abundance and enjoy the things that, like, God or spirit or universe, whatever you believe in, has put here on earth for us.
Mm.
Yeah. And
That's
what they,
beautiful.
yeah, I love it. So what they really say is the real key to success is not about systems and strategies. It's just not. And that old patriarchal limited thinking that I was talking about also is like striving and pushing and hustling, or giving your energy to anything that doesn't light you up, right? That's all done. This is about being. It's literally just about being. So the first key of the success code is to be, and it's about being fully us. It's about being fully you, right? And we've been conditioned to discard the notion that we can receive anything or that we can do anything from just being. We always think we have to go, 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 right? Push, struggle, strive, force, right? And the truth is that when you allow yourself to show up as the fully expressed version of you, your full self is exactly what will attract and magnetize all the things. I'm getting goosebumps even just talking about it. It will attract the people, right? Like if any of you guys are looking for relationships or true love or better work environments, it will attract the opportunities and friendships and money. It does this automatically. It is being in our authentic self. Again, goosebumps everywhere, as we know, our confirmation. So really allowing yourself to just be yourself and using all of your traits, all of your qualities and your talents, and as you know, right, we have our unique genius. We all have our unique genius and are all unique gifts, right? And that is the real secret to creating and attracting everything you want. It's the real secret to success. You just be it first, right? And for any of my loves listening who are taking notes, be it first. And it really comes down to like being your whole self, which incorporates the soul self, right? This is where so many people have been cut off and constricted from, thinking that it's just in that linear thinking, what I see is what I get, right? We've been taught to ignore, we've been taught to distrust, right? But our soul self is where that authenticity, it's where that magnetism, that heart centeredness, the abundance, the expansiveness, and it really, what I love about it, it's always knowing that there's more than enough. It's not about competition, it's about collaboration, right? And
Yes.
always knowing that you are enough. Like that's where we get all of those things, is aligning with that part of ourselves, right? So
Absolutely.
lovely.
And
Yeah.
I believe it was Louise Hay that talked about it's such an abundant universe. And yet, so many of us, we're looking at, well, what does that person have or what does that person have? And she goes, but if you think of air, it's the most abundant force that there is on this
Ooh,
planet. And no one looks at someone else and goes, that's not fair. They're getting more air than me. Or I've taken too much air. I need to stop. We just allow ourselves to receive and to give back and receive
oh
and
my
give back.
God.
And we're hoping everybody just gets air. We're not even counting how many air molecules there are. It's there, you know?
Right. Total. Oh, goosebumps. I love it. We got to do this more often, you and I. So, soul self, right? We trust our intuition. We listen with our hearts, coming back to our hearts, and only taking action from a place of full alignment. It's like the hell yes. It's like yes with all of my being. It's like the goosebumps. It's like absolutely knowing, right? And being that full embodiment, right? Being that full embodiment of your being is where quantum leaps. It's where manifestation instantly can happen, right? And success is really just a matter of going all in on you. That's all it is. Like, that's really all it is. And taking full responsibility for your results in your life, right? So many people don't get that, right? Or they think, oh, this is what somebody did, I'm going to follow their system and that strategy and it's going to work for me too. Why isn't it working? Because you're not showing up.
Yeah.
You're not showing up as yourself, right? Another thing that I've seen from people that I work with is a lot of time what holds people back. And I mean, this rings true for myself too. Something happened the other day and I was like, oh, this is because of what happened. This is because of something that a reflection of me. And it's not, right? It's they hold back from being themselves because of a lack of confidence and also overcoming fear, right? Like sometimes fear is all the lies that we've been told or that we have taken on to believe. The I'm not good enough, the I'm not worthy, the I can't do it, right? It's victim consciousness is exactly what they're saying, right? And maybe it's like, I'm not ever going to be able to do it, right? These are just all not true things that we've decided to believe and place meaning on, right? But what is true, and you and I know this, right? We are divine beings and we're souls that manifest through a body, a spiritual being having a human experience, right? And that means that I'll say you, right? When meaning everybody, you're here on purpose, even if there are days when you wonder about that, right? And there's an intentionality there we go to you being here now, just the way you are at this time in our collective story, right? You have the exact gifts, the exact things that you need to be able to help. And being here is important because we all have a purpose, even if it seems elusive some days. So it's really just flipping those untruths, right? Those wrong truths, those illusions, the illusion of separation, and being like, oh yeah, this is what is actually real, right? And the power that we have that is inherent in us, right? The power to create, the power to love, just the power to breathe just by being alive, right? And I really find what helps people is we need to, when we recognize ourselves as unique and whole and worthy beings who have a special place in the world, and who we are and what we have to offer is valuable and our lives have meaning, right? Because really who we are matters and what is inside of ourselves matters, right? And the cool thing that I love about this whole be concept that they talk about is being ourselves naturally will fill us up. It will make us feel fantastic, right? And we feel useful and appreciated and validated, and life feels meaningful because we are being ourselves, right? Like we are actually filling up our buckets. And being ourselves it's why we were born, right? Like 100%. Like we're meant to be ourselves exactly with all the things. And we didn't come here to fit in and be like everybody else, right? You came to be you. Everybody came to be you in all of their uniqueness, like the qualities and the traits and the talents that make you so unique. So what I can recommend for people, what they can do is write down their qualities and their talents and their traits, right? And really lean into some of that thinking of things that they enjoy doing, because we're supposed to be joyful, right?
Yes.
And that just naturally tracks that stuff to us. So how do you be? I get this question all the time from people that I work with. It's literally just going all in on who you're meant to be. Literally saying yes to the deepest truth and being fully you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime that I have allowed myself to be, which it's interesting because I have to allow myself to be,
Oh,
because yes,
100%.
there's like these old paradigms that still run, and I should be, and I need to be, and I have to be, and I was supposed to be, or whatever, that all kind of start to play. But in those moments where I allow myself to be and I'm completely in the flow, that's where the absolute most magic has happened every single time. And I'm like, it was so easy. It was so effortless. It was so, just like magic happened. And I 100% understand what you're saying about it being in that B kind of energy. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
And I love it, because of course that's my next note that we're going to talk about. When we let ourselves fully be, like, we get to tap into that flow. You're fully dialed in, you're leaning all the way into being you, and that's where you receive, and that's where you create, and that's where you allow, and that's flow. And flow is like when everything just comes together, like what were you saying, so easily and magically. It like feels effortless,
Yeah.
right? It is absolutely so freaking easy. And I wish that people would just, I mean, that's what we're doing. We're getting on board, right? And we are devoting, part of it is devoting ourselves, committing our lives to being what is inside of us,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
love
Now,
it.
what do you think? Because I know that for myself, there's times where I'm like, I'm absolutely being authentic right now. I'm in my flow. I'm connected with my soul, my heart. Everything is just in alignment. And then there's other days where it's like, I am totally a human right now, and I hate this and I hate that, and you know what I mean. So at what point? Because when I look at children, I see them as being in a B. They're totally a B. They're just in that flow. They're totally just who they are. No judgment on themselves, no judgment of what other people are thinking or anything like that. But then it shifts. And I've raised enough kids to see the shift that happens, but never actually have I been able to pinpoint this is why this shift starts to happen. So do you have any insight on that?
Yeah. So the reason why, again, it comes down to that conditioning, right? It comes down to that conditioning, and also maybe people aren't taking care of themselves, so they start to get exhausted, or they're over giving. And one thing that I just want to talk about that they're telling me to speak about right now is righteous rage, because righteous rage is actually a beautiful thing, and it can be used as a tool to access the deeper parts of ourselves in expression, in acceptance, in allowing what's in us to come forth. That's where a lot of healing takes place. So yes, there is, being human, a super broad range of emotions, and we are allowed to experience that. We are allowed to have that. It's part of our experience here. It's part of duality. But that is also being, right? That is being yourself. And I find they're speaking about like teenage years, when we come into question, and even they're showing me like 8 to 10 years old is when they start to want to be like other people.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
that is what
exactly the
they
age is
have.
8, where I'm like, and there's the shift with every single
Yeah.
child, 8 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because I work with a lady who's an energy practitioner, actually, and because I was working with my son, getting some energy work for him done, and I was just asking her for some guidance on what to do, how to move forward, and she goes, well, you can, like, we have our spiritual practices, you can ground and protect him, you can use those things, but that stops happening at 8 years old. And I was like, what? So you kind of just made a little light bulb go off
Huh.
for me there. Yeah. And I think it's because when we come to earth, I think we come to remember who we really are. So it's like we have to forget who we are first. Does that make sense? Because as children, we remember who we are
Yeah.
so much, right? But
Yeah.
then we come to a point of the humanness. Tell me if you're following me here, where, oh, Johnny and Sally have blah, blah, blah. I want to have that. That would make me better.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
So they like come to that perception. And it's almost like that it has to be part of this experience through this awakening time, if that makes sense. Right. I feel as more children come into earth and we come back to ourselves more, that won't be a thing as much. Like it won't be, because we're going to be living in more alignment, in more of our being. So then it's like going from spiritual adolescence to spiritual maturity.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like that's what humanity's doing. And I feel like that's why it had to show up. Again, it's that patriarchal, limited, linear thinking. This beautiful little sheet that you and I were talking about before, about when I talk about patriarchal, limited stuff, I'm talking about like toxic, wounded, I'm thinking like it's like shame and distrust and judgment and control and protection and pushing and overgiving and dominating and fear and blame and directing and achieving, right? It's strive. It's all of those things. So of course those things have to show up for our kids right now until we can get over that hump. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And even as you were talking, I was like, if I hadn't gone through the experiences myself as a child, 8 to say 24, I would say it was probably about 3 periods of 8 in there.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I know I'm a big numbers person. So I'm always like, oh, interesting. Okay. Because 24 was when I really started to open up and started to release all of the untruths that I had picked up along the way, and really had to look at each one individually then so I could get back to the truth of who I was.
100%.
And so I wonder if that's part of it, and maybe in part of that experience of the child, that it's not that it's supposed to be an untruth, but it can be picked up as an untruth, and it's up to us to then unlearn it if we've picked it up and went, oh, that must be my truth, I'm not good enough. And then at some point then we have to unlearn what that truth is that we've picked up.
Yes. I love that. And what I'm feeling and hearing with a lot of my clients right now is like generational healing. Like it's wild, the people who are coming to me for generational healing. It's like I just got goosebumps again. It's part of this shift. It's part of this up leveling. It's letting go of the trauma and the drama so we can go to the next level. Like I just bought my son like books on mindfulness and affirmations. Like he's gonna grow up with that stuff. That's not stuff that I had, just because our parents didn't have that access to that kind of stuff then. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. There wasn't a whole lot of focus that was put on it because they were that same generation of strive, achieve, these are the things that are most important. Then our generation came along and we went, oh no, we've got emotions.
Exactly. Oh, and they're big.
Yeah, exactly.
So being able to express those things like that, I think that's why they brought up righteous rage, because it's important that we feel those emotions, that we express those things, right? Like my son did something tonight and my husband, God bless him, gave him trouble for it. And I was like, wait, he's allowed to be angry. He's allowed to be frustrated. It's good for us, instead of feeling or stuffing them down, to express them, right? As they come up, right? And it is a part of us, and it's okay.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah. And really it's committing our life to being what is inside of us. So even if it does have that, like whatever it is, it's meant to come through. And like you said, you wouldn't have gone through, you wouldn't be the person you are today without going through what you've went through. Same with me. And some of these things, what I find 10 out of 10 times is that people's pain that they go through can be used to help somebody else.
Every freaking time. Every time. I'm like, why did I have to go through this? And then I have clients come through and I'm like, oh, I've gone through this. And I'm like, okay.
It's like, oh, I get you. Okay, thanks. Yeah, it turns out we just have to go through it for, yes, it's
Yeah.
a thing. So, oh my goodness. But really, so us being us is what our life was given to us for, right? Like, how resonant is that? Like, how, like, yes, like people spend often years slowly dying inside because they know deep down, like they know viscerally, like that what they're doing, they aren't meant to be doing, or they aren't being who they're meant to be, right? And I know that maybe some listeners might be having a hard time comprehending that success and getting everything you want is really just as easy as being yourself. But it's just because we've forgotten. That's all it is. And we've been so misled and conditioned to believe that things have to be hard and exhausting, and that we have to work at soul-sucking jobs to get through and live for the weekend, or ways of being, or working relentlessly, struggle, strive, push, force, which is just simply not true. Those are just things that we have been passed down, which is fine, absolutely fine. People work with the knowing that they have at that time. But in actuality, our dreams and our desires that we have, the visions, we all have visions of what we want, or what we would love to happen in our lives, right? And what I know to be true 100% is that our desires and our dreams come from divine, right? They're divinely placed. And if we see them inside of us, right, then they're available for us. They're meant for us, right?
Yes.
I love it. So, and I love thinking about, like, you literally could not think of something that you can't have or be or do. Like, if your mind can dream it up, it is possible, right? And that comes all down to like quantum physics. Like, I love like Albert Einstein and all that stuff. Like, it just freaking is. Like, if we can dream it, we can achieve it. Like, I know that sounds so cliche, but it is exactly what they're saying, right? And we really can have all we desire. And it's like, no matter what people's backgrounds or upbringings or financial situations or where they are in the world, like it's not a thing. So it's so cool and it's so fun. I love it. This stuff lights me up. And that takes us to the next part of our success code, which is do. And the B was the biggest part. The B is the foundation. So the next part is do. And what they talk about doing to do is the discipline, because it does take discipline of being fully you and allowing what is in you to come out. So crazy. So I'm empathic. I can feel my sacral chakra going wild right now, like just with the creation energy. It's so amazing because it wants to come out. And I don't know why they're telling me this, but I always honor and share what they're saying. So a lot of addictions, I know for myself, and anytime if I feel like insatiably hungry, I can't get enough to eat, I can't get enough to eat, I can't get enough to eat, and I eat all the things, if I just go and write, it goes away. It is literally creation energy that needs to come out. That's all it is.
Beautiful.
I know. And I feel like that's coming through for our listeners, for our people. So then some people can be like, oh, that's what it is, right? It just needs an outlet. And whether it's writing, painting, walking, singing, whatever, some sort of creative outlet, then it can all come into balance, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so cool. So to do is the discipline, like I said, of being fully you and allowing what is in you to come out. And it's the highest discipline of all. It is the best thing we can do, right? Literally. And it comes down to setting time aside and committing and allowing what is in you to come out. And I love this. And this is like, it blew my mind, but like what you do is something you truly couldn't not do because it's simply being yourself. Let me say that again.
I was just going to say, can you
I know.
that?
Yeah. So what you do is something you truly couldn't not do. You couldn't not do it because it's simply being yourself.
Mm,
Like, right?
yes.
We need to like create a poster or something. And it is that easy. Like when you were speaking about flow and stuff before, like it is that freaking easy. It is that easy. It is that easy. And yeah, it's so cool. And then the last part of the success code is to have. It's to have. And it's about to have all you want. All you need to do is look into the future you see inside of you. Tap into that, right? You know this. This is how manifesting works. Tap into that vision and know with conviction that it is all real and it's all available and it's all true and it's all there for the taking. It's literally just picking it up off of the proverbial universal shelf and going, yep, I'm saying yes to that and doing, right? And whatever you see inside of you is real. It's available specifically for you. Our dreams and desires are for a reason. It's always available. It's available for you right now, without you having to do or be anything that is external to you in order to get it, right?
Yes.
You just have to be fully yourself. That is it. That is it. That is all. So the success code is be, do, have. That is exactly what it is.
I love that. Now, for some people who may say be struggling with who am I? What do you suggest for them? Because it's one thing to just be who you are, but what if some people are like, well, I don't know who I am?
Okay, I love it. So first of all, being who you authentically are, I just want to summarize, be who you authentically are, right? And this is where maybe working with somebody who knows how to tap into that deeper part of you. And so specifically, I work with women who know that they are called for like so much more and they have something powerful to share with the world, but maybe they aren't showing up because they don't know how to be. They don't know what to do, right? But they know that they are not born for normal, but they can't not be all they came here to be. Like they can't. So I help people find, and really I just help you remember who you really are and who you always were. And then I help people become it. And that's where the real success comes in. You get to create real success by being fully you, right? And I love it. And I hope that that answers your question. And I just want to do a little summary. Be who you authentically are. Authentically. So it's like, what are your likes? What are your traits? What are your qualities? Those kind of things. Do life and really all the things from who you are. What do you like to do? I like to go in nature. I like to go for walks. I like to have bubble baths. I like to take my sweet ass time in the morning. I like to drink peppermint tea. Like it's owning all of those and knowing it's okay. And not only it's okay, it is essential for not just success, it's essential for happiness. It's essential for joy. It's essential for being able to experience expansiveness and being filled up. So many of us are so depleted, right? From overgiving. A lot of people who I work with overgive. I mean, classically, women are the overgivers, right? Yeah, 100%. But when we do that, we actually deplete ourselves and we have to raise our life force. And we do those things by doing things that we're naturally good at. And not only that, one way that people can tap in is to think about what you used to like to do when you were a kid. Those are the things that will naturally fill you up, right? Being outside, playing. And So the be is being who you authentically are. The do is doing life from who you are. And the have is having all that you desire, right? And being fully you is the way to success. It is the how. And your job, our job, is to be yourself each and every day, however that looks like. And you get to fully be who you came here to be. And when you do, that's when you will have the true success that was always there for you anyhow. And it's just all by being every bit of who you're meant to be in every area of your life. 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so you've got lots of people here saying, and because of the comment lags, so Joan had said, I am finding that being authentic me means embracing the things that lit me up as a child. And then right after that, she said, I just wrote that. And then you said it. Synchronicity. So it like works so perfectly. And then Susie's saying people need to play more. So I think
Yes.
that's a huge piece that a lot of people are missing out on right now is this play energy. And what
Yeah.
does it look like to play again?
100%, because that is what will fill you up. And I just want to say the synchronicity and the serendipitous things that happen, that is flow. Like you can't, I have a cup. You can't make this shit up. Like it just is. Like I had this made. Like that is flow. That is magic. Like I love that. And this transition, this awakening, this shifting really is coming back to playing, and also coming back to what is important. Our family is important, our connections are important, and it can be like your birth family, or it can be your chosen family, right? It's the connection that is important. But what they're saying specifically is it's connection to self first, and then to others, then to
Absolutely.
others, right?
Yes.
So freaking play, people. Play is a huge part of being. That's a huge part of being, 100%. Absolutely. And it's coming in so people can come from a place of fullness, and from a place of passion, and from a place of joy, right? Those are all the things that, and abundance, those are all the things that are available to us. They're high vibration. So we have to keep ourselves in high vibration in order to have those things. Does that make sense?
It does to me. It does to
Yeah.
me. But if you want to elaborate on it for those who are listening, just in case that doesn't make sense to them, that would be great.
So absolutely. So the way that emotions work, the way that things work, and thoughts work. So we have really, they're like on a scale, and the really low vibration. When I say vibration, I mean energy. Like it's stuck, dense, heavy. We're thinking like shame, blame, all the really toxic stuff. Where the higher emotions, the love, the unconditional love, the joy, the freedom, all of those things, those are those higher emotions, the happiness, right? So when we take good care of ourselves through play, through connection, through eating well, eating high energy foods, we can naturally get to those places much higher and stay in those places much higher. It's kind of like for us empaths, and I'm sure that a lot of our listeners are empaths, we can feel other people's stuff. Part of taking care of ourselves is maintaining our energy fields. It's maintaining our energy, period, right? Everything starts with energy. And that's exactly what it all is, right? There's lower energies, there's higher energies. And this is really all moving from the wounded feminine, the wounded masculine, into divine feminine and divine masculine. So they're just telling me to read this. So wounded feminine is about shame and taking and expecting and explaining and submissiveness and guilt and doubt and martyring and uncertainty and scarcity, lack, right? Dependency, shrinking and hiding. Wounded masculine. So these are like lower vibe things, lower energy things. Wounded masculine is distrust and judgment and control and protection and pushing and overgiving and dominating fear, blame, directing, achieving, demanding, scrutinizing, and reaction. So we're coming from that lower place into a new frequency of our divinity, our balance, which divine feminine embodies freedom, right? Everybody, so many people who I work with right now, everybody wants freedom. They're realizing as they're able to work from home, oh my God, I have time freedom. Oh my God, I'm not exhausted. I get to spend more time with my loved ones. I mean, we're forced to right now, but people are realizing it's actually a lovely, lovely thing, right? And divine feminine is also like what you were talking about before, receiving and allowing and feeling and deepening and expressing, connecting, beautifying, expanding, opening, using your intuition and desire and passion. Divine masculine, part of me, upholds freedom and discernment. And it's about deciding and choosing. And it's about pursuing. And it's about action. And it's about structure and holding and giving and solving and accomplishing and identifying and awareness, right? Those are all like the higher places where we are being guided to go as a collective, as humanity. It is exactly what is for us. And it is how to be a successful human. 100%. It all ties back to it, right?
Absolutely.
It's self-mastery. Yeah.
So it's interesting because I was scrolling on Facebook earlier today and they were talking about the different concepts of relativity. And with one of the pictures, they said that all time slows down around heavy energies. And so now, as you're talking about the heaviness of like the toxic masculine and the toxic feminine, it makes sense. Trying to achieve something or trying to manifest something from that lower vibration, of course, it slows it down. And when we're in the flow and we're in this kind of lighter vibration, of course, it speeds up. I'm like, oh, it's a scientific law.
And that is part of what is coming out, right? Like, this is like science, because like I am all about spirituality. I love all that stuff. I don't love the woo-ness of it. I like merging the practical with the spiritual. And this is what it's about. It's like scientifically, this is now proven things, guys. Thoughts create things. We have to be mindful of our thoughts. Go and look at Dr. Emoto's
the water
experiment, right? So guys, for our listeners, what it is it's an experiment that this man did, and he's a scientist, and he talked to water, and he put negative emotions and said hatred and whatever, all the denser energies in certain cups, and then put higher vibration, love, joy, all those kind of words in other cups. And the cups with the words that had love and joy and those higher vibration words had these incredible, the molecules changed into like gorgeous, like almost snowflake looking.
That's what I was going to call them, a snowflake.
Yeah, like it's so incredible. And then the lower, the denser vibrations turn kind of sludgy and ugly looking. It is wild. You guys should definitely check that out if you want to. Like, it's incredible.
Daughter, when she was in grade 6 for a science experiment, did a similar thing but with apples. And so she cut the apples in half, and on one half of the apple she wrote like I hate you, on the other half she wrote I love you, and you're so stupid and you're so smart, and like all of these kind of opposite sentences. And the apples, after 3 weeks, the ones with the positive sayings on them were slightly brown, but still like you could eat them, almost like you just had them in your snack bag for the day or something. And the ones with the words on them that were negative and whatnot were totally rotten and like moldy and everything else. And it was so impressive to see just the difference in that, you know?
It's wild. And again, so sometimes seeing is believing, right? And that is why I like to merge science with and practicality with spirituality, because I think it really is like merging like that linear practical thinking with the spiritual that will bring people into balance to see like, holy crap, this works, even though we've been saying it for years. Right? But that's okay. People weren't ready for it then, but now they are. And it is just absolutely such a incredible thing to witness and to be a part of. And I just really want to speak to everybody who's here. We are so blessed to be part of this evolution. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened for humanity. It's absolutely incredible. And yes, there is sad things that are happening, but I actually wrote my next book is coming out I think later on in the spring, and I was asked to be part of a collective book, and the chapter that I wrote about is all about how this is all happening for us, and how the people who are giving their lives are the heroes.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And I get goosebumps everywhere again. Like the people who are passing away right now is for our ascension.
Yes, I actually received that message yesterday because in the
No,
past
you
week,
didn't.
there's been like 3 people under 40 who have passed away, and very suddenly, like not cancer and you know it's coming or something. It's been very like massive heart attacks, suicides, overdoses, like massive. And I was saying to my husband last night, like, you know, you try so hard to heal the world and you just wonder, am I even doing anything? You know, if people are still committing suicide and having overdoses, and it doesn't feel like anything has been enough. And then I sat there for a moment and I heard like the vibration of these people is needed to help raise the vibration of the planet. And I'm like, okay, so I get that on this soul level. I get that so much. Yet it still sucks on the human aspect to feel these
100%.
people leaving and seeing all of these people hurting and whatnot. So
Of course. But it really is for us. It really is for us. And we will be able to see that. We're already seeing it. And what they're also saying is they're showing me like, look at like how in Italy, and I think that's where it is, they were singing out on their balconies, right? When they couldn't go out and do things. And it's showing the coming together and the collective that we need each other and that we are coming back together. It kind of I feel like got out of control, and in the respect of, and no judgment to anybody, like I love makeup and I love all that kind of stuff, but people were like fake hair, fake lashes, fake whatever, trying to fill themselves up. There had to be a tipping point. Does that make sense? Because I got shown that too, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, because all that stuff was taken away and then people had to be. Ooh, that's good. That just came through, right? People had to just be,
yeah.
Right? So many people were able to come back into themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So many people were just living surface.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
Fascinating. I love when you and I riff together, by the way. It's kind of great. Seriously. So good. So good.
Awesome.
I mean, I think it's good. Yeah.
No, I think it's good too. There's been so many like ahas that have been happening. So we need more conversations like this with people in general, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And people being real, right? It's the authentic us that is showing up right now. And I think that we're doing this so that we can show others, oh my gosh, like I can say what's inside of me, right? Without worried about being judged or hoping that this sparks, like that was my intention with this, that spirit used me for a higher world, hoping that this sparks some people to step into themselves, right? So they can have and do and be and do and have, right? All the things, because the more people who experience this, the higher the vibration is going to get on the planet, the higher energy is going to get on the planet, and then everything can just be smooth, and there can be, this is what I'm being shown, unity, right? There can be equality, no hunger, like all of these things. This is what this is raising. It's getting out all this shit first.
Yeah. And that's just it, right? It's the shit. It's, to me, it's almost like when you go to clean out a closet, because you're like, this closet is so chaotic. I need to clean it out. And then the next thing you know, your living room and your kitchen are also a huge mess because you've taken everything out of the closet and now you're sorting through everything. Eventually it gets clean again. But you need
Yeah.
to go through that kind of everything out in the open and just seeing it all in order to clean it all up again.
Yeah. It's like the declutter. So then you can make space for the new,
Yes.
essentially. Right.
Yes.
Oh, so good. Yeah. Yeah. One thing that I do just want to get in, because I love serving, I would love to share about a little freebie that I have for
Yeah.
our listeners today. And it's something, of course, that was channeled through spirit. And it is a soul aligned success strategy session. Funny about that, I'm a little bit sassy, and it's spelled sass if you spell it out. But what it is for is it helps people to remember the real you, like the real selves, and provides clarity of their life's purpose, and gives them exact steps to get you there. So then they can finally have like the freedom and the fulfillment and the fun. I love those 3 F's. I love that. And they said that to me last night as I was like taking notes, preparing for this, the freedom, the fulfillment, and the fun, because that is part of that play energy. It's part of the up level that we're talking about, right? And people are craving the freedom because they know that we're meant for it, and they're craving the fulfillment because they know we're meant for it, and they're craving the fun because it doesn't all just get to be sucky, it gets to be fun, and we get to play.
Beautiful. So how can people get connected with you for that soul aligned success strategy session?
Yeah. So you can sign up for it on my website. I was guided to put it on there, which is www.lis as in Sam, A is in Apple, S is in Sam, T is in Tom, A is in Apple, M is in Mary, P is in Peter, E is in Ernie, R is in Robert. .com. The reason why I say that, because so many people are like Stamper, Stanford, Stamper. And so I just got used to like spelling it all out. So it's lisastamper.com. www.lisastamper.com is where people can sign up for that, or send me an email, or shoot me a message on Facebook. I would love that.
Beautiful. Now, one more question I have for you, and I ask all of my speakers this question. If you could tell the world anything at all as your greatest piece of advice, your greatest words of wisdom, what would you want the world to know right now?
Oh, what I want the world to know right now is to be yourself, to 100% be yourself in all of your authenticity, in all of your fullness, bringing all of that up and out of you so then you can shine. We need you. We need you. We need you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight, Lisa.
Thank
this has been so much fun. For anybody who's wanting to connect with Lisa, I have put her website in the comment section here, www.lisastamper.com. The spelling is there, so I'm not going to do all of the different
Perfect. No, all good.
And I do hope that all of you will join us again next Tuesday. We do have Megan Orr Burnside coming on, and she's coming to talk to us about following the spark of inspiration into a magical and epic life. So it'll be another great topic about really stepping into your authenticity. So thank you so much, Lisa. Have a great night, everybody.
Such a pleasure. Bye, everybody.